What's up, guys? I'm here to do a review from episode 1 to 78 of Hunter x Hunter, the anime series 2011 edition. Excuse me. Uh, yeah, I believe it's 2011 edition. And so it's quite a cool series, and I hopefully want to keep this short because my voice is getting very hoarse. It might be because I'm talking so much and making so many videos, but um, first and foremost, spoiler alert. So I'm assuming you've read this or watched this, or you don't mind me spoiling it. So first and final spoiler. Um, this is mainly going to be on the Greed Island arc, and the reason is because I just did a video on the arc before, which was roughly 20 to 30 episodes ago, and so I'm doing a video pretty much summarizing the whole arc and a little on the arc after, which is the Chimera Ant arc, which I've gotten into slightly. And so first off, Greed Island arc, pretty cool, pretty cool. I like the premise and the whole idea. I thought it'd be a lot more epic than it was, and I guess it was just because it had so much potential. But in a lot of ways, uh, he fulfilled that potential. I was just more expecting the arc to be not so intricate in like the rules and stuff. Like when I when we first went into the arc and we found how many rules the video game had with all the cards and trading and stuff like that. I wasn't too into that because I played a lot of video games like that, and it just gives me a headache now because there's so many video games, and now it's just very tedious relearning a whole new game with so many intricate rules unless I'm really into it, and even then it's just a headache. And so I still try to keep up with the rules of the Greed Island game, and it was very interesting. I very much like the plot twist with it actually not being like a fake video game. It actually occurred in real life. But I would have much more liked the sort of uh, Truman uh, Truman Show style theme to it, where um, people like showed subtle hints that something was amiss and that they were all being organized, but it was taboo to reveal that this was actually real life and not every character in the game was a fake in-game character. I'm assuming what happened is most of the characters in game are made by Nen. It would have been very, very strange and twisted if they were all controlled by Nen rather than made completely by Nen, because I mean the Greed Island houses, it's been confirmed, at least 10,000 inhabitants, human inhabitants. So I mean Jin has been revealed to be the creator of the game, so it's like, whoa, whoa there. Are you enslaving these human people to play this game for you? But at the same time, um, I have a lot of respect for Jin now because Jing now, because I mean it takes a lot of incredible amount of Nen to organize this game and keep people from cheating in a game or invading the island through other means like the troop tried to do. And it was just very, very interesting to see the whole dynamic of the game. And um, I would have much rather had the game been a lot more simpler, yet at the same time subtly very complex, so that uh, Gon learned a lot from it, and there was a lot more like actual hunting going on as a hunter game. But that wasn't the case. Regardless, I still liked a lot of aspects of it. I liked the whole showdown with the bombers at the end. I thought that was pretty cool. The whole thing with the exorcist guy, the Nen exorcist, uh, I thought there'd be a lot more to it. Like you see this guy escape and like exercise his own bomb on himself, and then he takes up this like mysterious clothing to hide his identity, and I'm like, this has to be a very, very subtle thing that's going to play much deeper into the plot later. Turns out nothing really happens. You see him once more, and he's revealed to be the Nen Exorcist the troop have been searching for. And on top of that, you see another thing, which is, well, first off, if he's such a like powerful exorcist, why does he have to spend time in the game earning cards just to make 50 billion? Well, okay, that's true. 50 billion is a lot, but from what it looks like at the end of the arc, it seems like the troop is offering a lot more than 50 billion, maybe 200 billion. And I mean, they have the money. They've stolen so much items. And back to the troop arc, the fandom troop arc. Yeah, I'm kind of confused about the intentions. Are they truly just evil intentions, similar to the Bishop Kukai in the Toriko universe? They want to steal valuable items, valuable artifacts, admire them, and then just resell them back into the market for more money. Well, I mean that's not a horrible plot device. I mean, I was going to say it was, but then if you look at real life, that's what people do. That's how the black market functions. So, nothing wrong with that. But Greed Island arc, I liked it. I really liked the dynamic and the personality of the blonde-haired girl who ended up being their Gon and Killua's master's master. And I really liked the dynamic. I really liked how they met and how they just, through luck, happened to be able to teach each other and dramatically increase their power levels. And the last thing was when it was revealed that Jing was the creator, and then there's like 9 others who are just more the subordinate role. I don't know if that's true, but that's just how it seemed to have played out. I didn't really like that. I thought it would have been better if Jing made the game with 10 other equals who were equally as powerful, and then for a lot of these equals to have maybe been in the game. I thought the one game master with the dodgeball, the whole dodgeball part, would have been, one of the game masters who made the game with Jing. Well, he was one of them, but he was definitely not on the same power level as Jing. And I guess it makes sense, but I feel like, I don't know, it would have been better if they were stronger, because then, I mean, the whole time during the dodgeball arc, I was thinking, why isn't Hisoka impressed or amazed, or why doesn't he have his typical sort of like killer instinct, like killer thrill to fight this guy? This guy seems super strong. He might be dramatically stronger than Hisoka. Why doesn't Hisoka have that same sort of drive to fight this guy like he does with everyone else, including Lucifer, Crollo Lucifer? And yeah, people are gonna have to explain how you pronounce that name. But yeah, I guess it's because they managed to beat him, even though it was 3v1. And I thought that would spur Hisoka to be like, I found another powerful foe, I'm going to stay here. But maybe it's because he thinks Lucifer is stronger, or he just doesn't deem him that strong. Even though, I think it was because Hisoka thought, okay, you can beat us 3v1 in dodgeball, but in a real fight, you're no match. I don't won't even bother. I'm looking for the Nen Exorcist, so I can fight someone stronger, which is Crollo. Maybe. And finally, can someone explain the whole Nen Exorcist thing? We know it's that dark-skinned man, but here's the thing. Remember how he made that strange lizard which ate his bomb attached to him? Why then did he go up to the bomber guy at the end of the arc and say, I've captured the bomber, and then we see all this smoke like erupt from him? Didn't he already have the bomb removed with the lizard thing? What exactly happened there? And the only real possibility to answer that, as of now, seems to be maybe his exorcist abilities do not actually remove the Nen. It's simply nullifies the nen indefinitely forever. But he, in order to truly remove the nen, you have to like go up to the bomber and say, "I've caught the bomber," which removes his bomb, and therefore he had it nullified and stuff, but he wanted it truly 100% removed. And if that is the case, then that foreshadows future events. So maybe, just maybe, you can't actually completely remove the nen that Kurapika has placed on Krollo, and it's only nullified indefinitely. And so it's not like a real 100% removal of nen, which could play into some crazy plot twists. And as far as plot twists for this arc, this Greed Island arc, not too many, though there were some that were very interesting. Again, with the whole thing with again the prize for leaving the island with all 100 cards being fulfilled, um, being nullified, and the whole the person who was sponsoring this event nullifying that contract. That was a little bit of a twist. I didn't really understand why this rich guy made this contract without specifying before the hunters went into a game that upon winning you have to choose the card that can revive anyone with fatal injuries. Why? Because that was the whole point. The rich guy hired all these hunters to go into the game, and yet what if, because he didn't inform them properly, they won the game but they didn't choose the right cards, the right 3 cards when exiting the game, and therefore despite winning the game the hunter did not come out with the right card, and therefore he couldn't heal his wife. And so that brings us to another topic. Why is the wife so young and the rich guy so old? Just maybe, this accident happened dozens and dozens of years ago, so the picture of the wife is old, and now the wife is also old. I can't remember if that's actually a case. If someone wants to, you can verify that, but I'm hoping so. Otherwise, it's very, very creepy. I mean, the wife being like a freaking young girl, and then the old guy husband being so old. But that happens in the real world. And that leads us to the Chimera arc and another little instance. At least in anime, this is what happens. I've been slightly semi keeping up with the manga, with the anime, but mainly 100% watching the episodes. There is this event we see in the Chimera arc, the first occurrence of a Chimera ant eating 2 human children. Now this is very sad and horrific, but at the same time it's like survival of the fittest species, right? Like, what right do we have to be the just holy species to survive when we just got to an intelligent state before others? So we see these 2 children being eaten up, and before that we see this little storyline, and it's very creepy. The girl, she's going to sleep, and I don't think this happens in the manga. I tried finding it in the manga. I didn't really try too hard, but I don't think I found it. The girl says, the little child girl says, I want to marry you when I grow up one day, to the brother. And I know they're children, and therefore they don't really understand how dynamics work, but at the same time it's still kind of creepy. But I understand, they're kids, they don't really understand how life works. And so that leads us to the next thing I wanted to talk about, which was the Chimera ant. The ant queen can already think and talk on a human intellectual level. We've seen this many times, and she is surprised when giving birth, after eating the 2 human children, that her child, her worker child, can also talk and understand and speak on a human intellectual level. And she was surprised. So I'm surprised that the queen can do so in the first place. And I guess it's just that the Chimera ants have already gotten to a dramatically ridiculous level and can have evolved through other means to interact at such an intellectual level. At least the queen has. And therefore, when they actually finally run into humans and consume them, they have gone beyond super intelligence, you could say. And so that's very interesting. By the way, if you have any insights or responses to any of these topics I've talked about, go ahead and leave it in the comments. And so it's very interesting. I looked it up on Wikia, Superpowers Wikia, I believe, and basically this whole genetic thing, I actually do a lot of biology research, so this whole genetic thing, it's not in real life. If it was, it'd be ridiculous. It'd be like the most insane advantage anyone could have, but it could backfire as well. I can see that, because what if you consume a horrendous trait? And that's why I believe it's not in nature, because if you eat an organism and you're off and you choose, like, it doesn't seem like you can choose which traits to give to your offspring. You have to give like all of them, or it's like a random selection. And therefore, what if you consume an organism with bad traits, and then you leave that to your offspring, and your offspring ends up being bad? That's probably why it doesn't happen in nature. And on top of that, there's no real way to really decipher which traits are good or bad. I mean, there's so many variables. Your environment is very variant and changing, so it's almost impossible to decipher which traits are good or bad. And so that's why it might not be advantageous in real life, because you could consume an organism that can give you a very bad trait. And so that's why the Chimera trait isn't in real life. But we can see here that it somehow happens to be able to decipher which traits are good or bad, and somehow choose, which I believe is just too complex to happen in nature and too variable depending on nature. But yeah, it's very interesting. Finally, back to the Greed Island arc. I can't remember what they were, but there were a few very good plot twists in the Sega. I guess I can't remember what they were, but I guess they had to do with the Phantom Troop being there and Hisoka. And so I'm very curious to see what's going to happen. My overall rating of the Greed Island arc, I would say a solid rating. I'm not going to give it a numerical rating. I'm just going to give it a solid, decent arc out of 10. So that's my rating. And the reason why I'm not giving it a numerical rating is just, this people might bash me if I give it a too low rating, but I don't care about that. The main reason is just, I think it's a subjective thing, and I think it's a solid chapter, but you can't just, it's so intangible, you can't put it into a numerical rating, an absolute rating for the whole arc. And I wouldn't say it's the best arc in the world. I've read a lot better arcs, and regardless, I mean, Hunter x Hunter is still new for me. There's still many arcs to come, and therefore at its current stage, you typically don't see like the best arc of all time so early on. I mean, look at Naruto, Bleach. The best arcs usually came later, so I'm not too sad. It definitely wasn't the best arc in the world, but it was a pretty solid arc. Some points I didn't really get or understand. If you can clarify in the comments, go ahead. But I would just give it a solid rating, decent. And I've heard a lot about the Chimera Ant arc. A lot of people, they were very excited before the arc came out in episodes, and so there's been a lot of talk about this arc. So far it seems decent. It has a lot of potential, but we'll see where it goes. Right now you can kind of predict where it's going to go. I mean, Gong fights these ants, and then the ants like produce even more stronger human counterparts, and then the king ant gets Lane. He gets born, he's very strong, they fight, and then eventually, after a long drawn out battle, they win. End of arc. I'm hoping the author can do something more with that. Maybe some plot twists, maybe some unexpected stuff, maybe something additional you don't expect. That would be great. But he has yet to really disappoint, and he has done some very ingenious plot twists that you don't expect. So I have high hopes. Anyhow, thank you guys for watching all 20 minutes of this video. Like, rate, comment, and as always, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Peace.